Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the GMAE show. Today is September 14th, 2022. It is 9:05 a.m. my local time, but it may be September 15th, 2022, where you are. If you're joining us from the Asia Pacific region, good evening. If you're joining us in Africa and in India, if you're joining in all of Europe, good evening. This is a new time. This is an earlier show for me. And this is the new time for the GMAE show. Good afternoon, South America. How you doing? Good afternoon to those of you joining on the North America Eastern time zone. And good morning to everybody else in NA, Hawaii, all over the world. How is everybody doing? Having a good time? Getting ready to play in the Sandbox Game Alpha Season 3. Each and every week, 5 days a week on this show, we play the games that you create inside the Sandbox Game Maker unless the Sandbox Alpha Season has opened. And we are smack dab in the middle of Alpha Season 3 right now. The map, Central Town, released today. You may have played it. Maybe you have not, but we will play it together here today. And if we have time, we'll go back and play some of the previous experiences that have released within the week. Good morning, Boise, Idaho. I see you in the chat. Repros W over on twitch.tv is asking a question just like you can here on this show. If you have any questions about the Sandbox game, if you've got questions about the alpha, questions about the dashboard / website, if you have questions about our asset creation software VoxEdit or the Game Maker software, you can ask your questions anytime in the chat live here, and I will try to address them as they come up. We've also got some very helpful ambassadors in the chat as well that may answer your questions, so keep an eye on your chat. If there is a question that we cannot answer, then check out the social descriptions below this video where you can join us on Discord, Telegram, Twitter, or any of our other great platforms to get those questions answered. It is very rare, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes we forward those questions on to the high-level technical, literally the chief technical officer has come from this show because you guys ask great questions. We are in the middle of an alpha, and that means the nature of this software is updating. It is adapting. It is changing. So if you have a question, comment, concern, you have an idea about a feature, that idea may result in a change to our platform as we continue to grow and develop. A lot of those things have happened as a result of this chat. So let's get into it here. The question was, it's an earlier show, will we do an alpha giveaway? We do an NFT giveaway on each and every show here on the official channel. Most of those NFTs historically have been Wizzy-themed NFTs. Maybe it's a hat you can wear inside any combat-based experience in the game. Maybe it's a character you can use when you're creating in the Game Maker software. We also, during the duration of the alpha, give away Alpha Season 3 passes on this show. If you win an Alpha Season 3 pass, that unlocks a special Battle Pass type section on the website with real tangible rewards. These rewards come in Sand tokens. This is a cryptocurrency for our platform. You can use to buy assets in the marketplace. You can use it to trade with other people. You can keep it, maybe stack up extra sand by staking, get a land, build your own experience, publish that inside the metaverse in the future. But yes, that's right. You will have an opportunity to win an Alpha Season Pass here on this show. Dr. Metaverso says, Joe, I'm not used to you streaming with daylight outside. That's right, Dr. Metaverso. Changing it up. We're having a good time. Basel Atta says, are we going to have GMAE every day at this time? That's perfect. Thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that. And Mr. Furious X referencing some old lore from the Central Town as we jump into this, saying scientist for the win. So I'm going to load this up now for you, chat. How's it going? Okay, Beth says, hey, Joe, I won an Alpha Pass in the last GMAE show. Could I know when I will be able to claim the Alpha Pass? Beth, that Alpha Pass distribution is usually on Thursdays, but sometimes, you know, these things, if it's Thursday where you are now, just know it's usually like Thursday morning-ish, maybe afternoon in Paris time. However, we've got about 10 weeks before anybody will be able to claim the Sand token, and you'll have an unlimited amount of claim time for that pass once you are approved to have that pass. So we forwarded your information to the right people, and rest assured that will come your way soon. All right, as I'm first loading in to this experience, I'm unlocking the quest immediately to find Voxelite scattered across the land. So this Voxelite itself, if you've never played in one of our experiences, the Voxelite are these little blue bits right here, and as we walk up to them, we'll pick them up. And these quests that pop up on the right side are counting towards the high score that you are accumulating, and that high score is based on two factors. One is the EP meaning ethos points. It is essentially a variable quest point that you can get. Sometimes you'll get 1, sometimes you'll get 3, something like that. But it is a quest type point where you're earning those things. How's it going? I'm going to dance with you, Shadow Cleaver. But you're earning those quest points as you play through these experiences, and secondarily, you're also earning a recorded time that you will want to refine down. So for each one quest that we pick up, we are going to have a recorded time with that one quest. Now, what I recommend for those people who are trying to get on the high scores list, we have a leaderboard with sand reward prizes as well. For those people who are trying to get on that list, make sure that you pick up one quest at a time, and then when you take your second run at it, try to remember intently what and where those directions are. Sometimes I found myself doing this particular quest, the Voxelite quest, which tends to be some of the longest ones. I found myself in a few instances literally spawning and just instantly turning straight around and going the opposite direction because the Voxelite was behind me and it was just a little bit faster than going forward. So think about that with intent after you play through your first run, if you're going to be one of those serious speedrunners, and we've got quite a lot of them in the community. I've seen you guys going back and forth, kind of, I don't want to say fighting for it, but you're really putting in the effort. And another recommendation that I would have for those people who are speedrunning is, rather than try to go it alone, rather than just trying to compete blindly, sort of, with, yourself against them, get into a conversation with other people who are speedrunning, because you'll each have little tips and tricks that are going to make each of you better at a speedruns. I've seen people come up with the craziest methods of finding, from point A to point B very, very fast that have worked very well for them. So make sure you're talking with each other as speedrunners, and then it's really going to come down to a matter of your individual skill, and it'll make it a lot more fun that way, in my opinion. All right, so as I'm first spawning in, I'm going to press Z because Z makes me run a little bit faster. And in order to sort of guarantee that I'm pausing for just a second so that I register with the server, I'm going to jump on the Voxelite. You don't have to do this, but some folks have found that as you are running through, you'll notice there's a bit of inconsistency with when my computer relays to the server. And this is going to vary from person to person what that consistency is. But if you jump on them, that little puff of cloud that kind of comes out of your feet, that visual effect there, that jump is kind of guaranteeing that you were there to the server, and it does seem to register it a little bit better. All right. Greg Turner says in the chat, since the last update, I can't play. It says I'm still on the downloading assets page. Greg Turner, you'll want to check out the Discord for this one because they're going to have the exact location. It's a bit long for me to read out here on the show, but you can go into a temporary folder in your PC and delete the temporary data that is in there, and then when you reopen that, it'll take a little bit longer to load, but if you feel like you're stuck, that is a quick fix for that. All right. So you're watching GMAE making nachos. Life is good. What's up, Sparky? Nachos sounds good. All right, let's see here. Please add this ability to save the game, saved gameplay to the game before exiting the game. We are sort of working on that exact idea. We understand the value to being able to save a game in the midst of it. In the meantime, each developer has the choice of which of how they want to build out an experience. And I'll give you a good example of that. One of those things, and this came from Hojat King over on youtube.com. One of those ways that we can work with and around saving in this perpetually online sort of experience is making your quests like they are here, where they pop up sort of individually. You don't have to do them in any one particular order. And then additionally, we have another developer who had a particularly large experience that they had created in Alpha Season 2 that they revamped in Alpha Season 3, where there's actually an NPC you can talk to right at the beginning that says, "Take me to Chapter 2," or something similar to that. So when they created that experience in that way, it really expanded your ability to play various chunks of the game, sort of like a save point, without restricting you from going and playing quest number 4 anymore, right? And when you look at the way that that leaderboard works out, that's going to be very good for people who play in that experience. Because if you are somebody who's pursuing the high scores, if you are somebody who wants to see that leaderboard push down lower and lower in terms of your time, then you probably don't want to have a save point that now restricts you from going back to the first quest again. So it's a little bit different, but each developer gets to choose how they create their experience, with the exception that right now we don't have the function save points in there to give to those devs. So maybe that will come in the future, but based on the way that this alpha is running and the reception of the leaderboards themselves, I'm not sure if that's going to be the best direction, but it would be great to have that option for those people developing in the wider metaverse. All right. Let's see here. Joe, I won a parkour race yesterday. When is the result? Alpha Pass raffle. This one does take a little while, repros. But it's good to hear that you won one of those. It was an in-game parkour race. I know the ambassadors have been doing those in the experiences. If you see somebody who looks like my character, where they have this sort of neon clothing going on, this almost Tron-like aesthetic to them, then wave high. See if they're running an event inside the experiences. This is new for this week. So the ambassadors are running these special in-game live events with different sorts of rewards. I picked Kochek says, is there an event happening in Central Town? Some people are asking about where Snoop is. So the events page, if you want to see that, you can go on the website at sandbox.game, click play, right? And then you'll have a tab at the top that says events. And so you can click on that events tab, and it's going to take you to where the daily challenges are. The Jaguar Friend giveaway, the WMG Pass giveaway, these sorts of things currently new this week. You can click more info on any one of these, and you may have an opportunity to win something in that. But you'll see a bunch of different ones appear to be open right now. This one is open until September, like 45 more minutes on the Atari giveaway right now. So you've got some time to do these, but make sure you don't miss them on the events page. All right, let's see. Oh, yes, that's a good point. Sparky Snickle brings up a really good point. For those people who are wondering about claiming the Sandbox as a platform, we are currently undergoing one of the most impactful updates to the Ethereum blockchain since it has been created. This process called the merge will merge a new bit of code which changes the platform from something called proof of work to proof of stake. And this isn't the Sandbox decision, but this is the core blockchain on which the Sandbox has operated since we started, and on which Polygon, the chain that we are moving to, the layer 2, relies on, right? They rely on Ethereum to do this process. And the merge is going to transition it from proof of work, meaning many individual computers all over the world working. And when one says, I solved for the next block in the chain, then all the others verify it. That is what proof of work does. Proof of stake is similar to that, but reduces the number of what you would call validators, the people who are verifying things, down to a smaller group. Not so small that it becomes vulnerable, but going down from millions to thousands, right? And it ends up making it much more energy efficient process, much more ecologically conscious. And also in this update, they're expanding the block size. And so that will mean more transactions per second and more energy efficient. It's a major update that may bring some significant institutional investment into the blockchain for the first time in a long time. Now, that's happening literally now, this second. That being said, that means the Sandbox game is going to make sure that when that update is finished and applied, we will be doing internal scrutiny, right? We're going to test it and test it and test it until we're sure that it's great. And then we're going to reopen all the standard transactions. So for now, the marketplace, those transactions are going to be halted. The sending of new assets would be halted because we want to make sure that you don't run into an issue where you're trying to claim and you can't, right? So we're going to do a bunch of testing, and then we're going to bring all those things back over the next couple of days. But don't worry, it's going to be totally normal. It's just making sure, again, with the nature of updates that are outside of our control, we want to make sure that you're still getting high quality product. All right, let's see here. IPEX says, I would be very happy with this hour every day. I got you. This is it. This is the time now. Sarbu says it's 7:12 p.m. here. I like it. Thank you. Sarbu, this is the time now. All right. 1BOXT says, happy birthday, Joe, and thank you for streaming on your birthday. Thanks. That's very nice of you to actually know that, to care. Appreciate you. Vmut says, midnight here. Vmut, I think I usually see your name in the mornings. It is a little bit late. It's late for sure for the Asia Pacific region, but it's not maybe too late, I'm thinking, right? It's pretty, I mean, it's late for sure. And if you're working a nice early job, then this would be too late. But I'm hoping that this is a more compatible time with everyone all around the world, because somebody in the US West Coast that might normally watch a show around where I live might say this is too early, right? But it's not too early. And so we're going to see how this works out here. All right, let's see. Nancy Gianto saying, reminder about the Wizzy hat to Alex. Thank you. I will do that. Let me see here. Alpha Stream Dream Team. Gonna have a note for myself. Alex Wizzy. Doop. That's me writing notes to myself. Alex Wizzy. That's how I do it. All right, let's see here. I'm a speedrunner all the way, but it's super hard when my chat isn't working. Basel, your chat isn't working. Oh, okay. Basel, if you're playing an experience, this question came on youtube.com. If you're playing an experience and you don't have a chat, that may be because you're playing a single player experience, right? So yes, it will ramp it up and it's going to change sort of some of those mechanics because you're only going to have the metaverse chat and you may not be able to do certain functions, right? But what I think you'll notice actually that's unique about the single player experience is you're going to have a button in the bottom right where you can restart the whole experience as well. So normally you would have to leave the instance because it was a multiplayer instance, rejoin, or reload that instance in order to do it. And in this case, restart just like boom, boom, starts it right back up from the beginning. So that may be the case. Make sure to check and see if it's a single player experience first. All right. Dr. Metaverse is saying leverage other Twitch streamers and YouTube for tips on speedrunning. Absolutely agree with that too. All right. All right. Silver Rookies saying what is instances? And that may be, you may be asking what instance I'm in right now. So if you want to know what instance you are in right now, you can type /instances in the chat. And you can see it in the bottom left, hopefully down there. And when I push enter here, you'll see the list of instances that are open in Central Town right now. I am in 73296, and there are 39 people in my experience right now. Now, typically, any one instance, when it gets filled up, full being around 40-ish, 35 to 40, it'll open up a new server, and then we can start to populate that one as well. So if you want to join a particular server that your friends are on, you could type /join space and the server that they are on. So 73284, I'm going to try to join that one now, because I see there are 2 people in there all by themselves. All right. Besmir369 says, I don't want to miss the POAP badges from different events because there are more bots and spam accounts and they limited to only 10K. So I'd like to know, is it possible that all the POAP events would be only for KYC'd people? All of our events that we are hosting, all the events that you see in our events tab, the passes that we give away, that sort of thing, can only go to KYC'd people. So if there is a POAP award, essentially any award that the Sandbox gives out would have to be to a KYC person. Now, separate from that, Besmir, something like what we do here on this show when it comes to the Wizzy NFT, right? The Wizzy NFT does not require KYC because it's going from Alex to you. And Alex is going to start up a show here in just about an hour and a half from now. But when he sends those from Alex to you, then you don't have to worry. What's up, Brownsko? How you doing? But we've got, if you have Alex sending it to you, then it's a private transaction and it's not, necessarily something that the Sandbox has to worry about too much. I love that dance. All right. Rewatch the Saturday stream. Alex went over clearing everything out. Thank you. Yes, if you have an issue with your software and you need that cleaned up, then go check that out. I'm about 15 minutes behind in the chat, so forgive me, chatters. I'm gonna get caught up here as we dance right at the spawn point in Central Town. Marco Galvano saying, "Happy birthday! How old are you? 35 today." Please, this last time you GMAE show is midnight on me. Oh no. Oh. Okay. So is it midnight now, Marco? Let me see here. I picked Kochek saying that experience is Dracula's castle, right? The one with the checkpoints? It is. All right. Jaeger34 asking, where's PandaPops? Very nice. That's funny. They moved the O and the A around. PandaPops will join us tomorrow on the Thursday stream. Also, PandaPops does her own streams very often. Arkston says, have I missed the form? You have not. I will give one out here in just a bit. Let's see here. Remember the Crash Bandicoot save system where you would input the 0x² triangle in a different order to bring you to different parts of the game? I think I still have the code 100% memorized. Just Soyboy on YouTube. I literally didn't know that was a thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe Crash was just one of those games that, like, I really liked level 1, level 2, what have you. Just playing it through naturally like it was a Sonic the Hedgehog or something. I didn't even know that you could just, do old school like Grand Theft Auto cheat code and teleport yourself to wherever you want. Can I use a respawn macro? Our taste. You could, but you don't have to. The respawn itself, actually, what's interesting about our chat mechanic here, if you look in the bottom left, /respawn. If you type /respawn, you push enter, it's going to take you back to the respawn. It's funny that I never stopped dancing when I did that. But having done that once, now if I press enter and up, it's pre-filled out for me. So for some reason, coming back to the spawn point is advantageous to you in a multiplayer experience, to help make your times more efficient. Maybe you're collecting Voxel item that goes all 4 different directions away from the spawn point. Then, yeah, you could just type /respawn once. Then, when you press enter, up, enter, we're going to respawn. Just like that. It's going to take you back to whatever spawn point the developer has set in the experience. All right, let's see here. Candidly Kristen saying, if the system detects you using macros, you will be banned. Yeah, any external softwares that you were using could subject you to a ban. So keep in mind with that. Do you think if I asked Vitalik that he can magic an alpha pass into my ETH wallet? Vitalik isn't in control of that, actually. That's the nature of the blockchain, right? Decentralized operation. All right. Keeper Top Shots saying, just dropping by to say hi. Thank you for being here, Keeper. Wonder what will happen to the gas price after the merge and having less validators. Dr. Metaverso, with the expanded block size, it is possible, potential, very likely even, expanded block size meaning more information can fit in any one transaction on the chain, any one block. You fit more information into each individual block, then you're going to open it's a bigger pipe, right? More information can go into a single block before it is processed. So you'll probably see gas fees go down, but that's only sort of projection on my part. As the nature of things go, is a validator running a really high quality server, or is a validator, as they are chosen by the community, running something slower? You never know. So we'll see what happens as things develop over time. I'm sure, of course, it's going to get better, more efficient, faster, stronger, etc. All right. Basel Atta saying, when the ETH thing happened a few days ago, the ETH price and sand went up, but now it went back down again. I don't understand this market. Basel Atta, actually, fun thing. I love macroeconomics. I'm a nerd like that, right? I really like the big ethereal parts of money, not Ethereum per se, just saying, like, the stuff most people don't pay attention to. And it happens that yesterday in America, the inflation numbers came out, and the inflation was slightly higher at 8.6% versus last year. And that scared everybody in the traditional market. And the nature of things generally are that the traditional market has 3 levels of risk, the NASDAQ being like the technology side, the riskiest side, right? And whenever those go down, the one goes down, the other 2 slightly more, and then you start to sell off your risk assets. And because a lot of people don't understand blockchain, they don't understand Bitcoin, right? That sort of thing. They will sell off their blockchain stuff because it's their newest thing, and they don't understand it, and they don't have time to understand it. So institutional investors can be good, but tend to be less stable when you look at something like this. But in the long term, you're seeing, as they sell off Bitcoin, Bitcoin trades for ETH and ETH trades for sand, right? So you'll tend to see some sort of like exponential ups and downs. When things are up, sand is going to be up harder, right? ETH is going to be up harder. Bitcoin is going to be up. And when things are down, it's going to be the inverse of that. But generally speaking, if you look at the charts right now, Bitcoin's down and Ether is not as down. And sand is not as down versus that. So just, it's just what it is. It's fine. We don't look at the small things. You zoom out, right? And the sandbox is going to continue to build for years and ignore the numbers. You know what I mean? We're going to ignore that price point because that's not what we're here for. We're here to build a metaverse. We're here making great stuff happen like this Central Town experience here. All right, let's see here. Saw your name and was so confused, but I'm still here for this time. California. What's up, Lord Agnew? Yeah, it's 9:30 in the morning, California. Here we go. Albluvium saying it's 6 p.m. for me. I had to wake up at 5 a.m. every time until now. Well, hopefully you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. anymore. Are you enjoying this time? Kind of want some good feedback here. Brock Lee says, when room tour? Rooms, I could probably send a picture. It's a little bit of a mess still. Just moved in about a month ago to this new house. And has it been a month? Wow, it has. Wow, it's been a month already. And I've still got like packing boxes and things with stuff that's not sorted because I have to, it's a brand new house or new build in a very old house, but they rebuilt the whole thing. So simple things like the closets I have to build yet. They exist, but there's no shelves in them or things like that. I still have to work on that. I got about $25,000 worth of things I still need to do to this house to make it okay, I'm done. And then my wife hit me yesterday, chat, and she hit me up with this crazy thing. She was like, I want a bookshelf that goes all the way across the dining room with one of those ladders that's on rails, like Beauty and the Beast, so that you can do the like as you swing through your library or whatever. And I was like, you realize it's gonna be like $10,000, and like that's crazy to me. Like, why would you? Yeah, okay, sure, but it's 10 grand, right? And then my daughter, who is now 12, was just like, I mean, eventually, right? Like, we could do it eventually. And I'm like, you're killing me, Smalls. Like, I could just pay the house. Just pay off the house. All right, let's see here. Question, will we have an extra alpha pass for yesterday's live stream? I pick. Sure. Why not? Let's go. Let me make another form real quick. I'm gonna do one right now. That's for Wizzy Hats. This is an alpha form. Copy. And keyboard's over there. It is 14. Make a copy. Make a copy. I click the button. Do the thing! Do the thing! Hello. What? Why have you highlighted? What is happening? Oh my goodness. It literally won't let me click the button that says make a copy. You're killing me, Smalls. Let's try to load it again. Chat. Oh my goodness, there it goes. Whew! I was stressing out. Let me make sure I can accept responses, and then I am going to send this over. Keep in mind, chat, as you are filling out this form, as I am about to paste it into the chat right now over on twitch.tv and youtube.com. When you're filling out this form, the people who are eligible to win an alpha pass are only people who have KYC'd on the platform. This is the Know Your Customer method. You can find it in the settings section of the website. Click on your avatar in the top right, then click settings and make sure you are KYC'd, because we can only give out these alpha passes to those people who are validated as real humans. We don't want to give them out to a bunch of robots or people trying to put into the form 6, 7, 8 times. That doesn't work. Also, only fill out this form once, because if you do fill it out more than one time, then I will invalidate your entry. All right, so you don't get extra chances to win. We're going to keep it fair, keep it smart here. And I got 9 responses so far in that form. So make sure you fill it out. That is, I will need your username in the Sandbox game. All of the fields that are in here are essential, just so that, first of all, when I read your username on that platform, that's me being able to see you and address you in the chat, so people can say congratulations and things like that. Got your username in the Sandbox game, so I can look up your account, make sure that you are validated as KYC. And then the Ethereum wallet address, if you win, can then be added to our list. Excuse me. M. Davila says, not KYC'd yet. Oh, well, get on it, friend. It only takes a couple of minutes. So if you have any issues with it, then you can always get support through the external service. KYCs are done through an external service with the Sandbox game. We have a partner helping us out with that function. So if you want to get that filled out, like I said, for me, it took like 15 minutes and it finished. For some people, it took a day. A couple of people I've seen, like the longest I think I've seen was like a week, something like that, for somebody who had theirs validated. So, yes. Here comes the flood of users, says the escape room artist. Hey, you know what? If it works, it works. If it's good, it's good. Some people watch over on Twitch, but the people who are watching on Twitter usually come over to Twitch or YouTube for the form. The people who are watching on DLive Theta, that sort of thing, unless Jazzwolf links it in the chat, which they have been known to do in the past. Mr. Furious X says it took him 5 minutes. Keat Zero says, my brothers took a week because we're twins and he got rejected initially. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I wonder how do you do that, right? Like, how do you prove, hey, I'm a twin? Did you guys take a selfie like together? Should be like, look, hey, we're real. You know? Dexter I3 says, I won a Wizzy hat a couple of weeks ago. Still not airdropped. Is the delay intended? Dexter, that one comes directly from Alex Florez to the community. He's been super busy working on Alpha Season 3 stuff, as we are still working on the content that is releasing in the weeks during the Alpha, right? So we play tested an experience working directly with some devs, you know, as much as maybe even like the same day. And we continue to break these games on the back end to see that you have a good experience on the front end, if that makes sense. Like, you always want to do that. You want to have some private testing, and then we bring it in here into the alpha, and it's essentially like a public test where people can play those experiences and give some feedbacks. All right. Maxi Max says, I'm a twin too, but being the male of the pair, it was easy for us. Yeah, that makes sense, Maxi Mac. It's pretty fair, easy distinguishing differences between two people, you know? Lula Love 9 says, glad I caught this stream. Yeah, don't worry, Lula Love. We'll be here this time. All right. Let's stick around. Let's see here. Drakusha is saying, what do you think, Joe, about the big short in crypto? I got to be honest with you. I'm not really familiar with that term. I know what it is. I know that there was a movie made out of it. It was somebody who famously shorted a stock or something, and it worked out really good, even though it was super high risk or whatever. One of those 1 in a million sort of operations, you know. But if that's what you mean, where like a person intentionally shorts something, you know, shorting, logging an asset, those are inherently risk. Not buying spot, not like I tend to buy spot and I DCA into my buys. Tend to. Sometimes I have done stupid things and all in on a thing and lost a bunch of money, or, you know, so the consistent way that I have earned and done well is to slowly buy for platforms that you can trust, that have utility, right? And I always ask myself, can people use it? And why will people use it, right? That's what I like to ask. Obviously, the Sandbox game is one of the best examples of strong utility in the crypto space, period, right? You buy an asset like Hodl Hill has here on the screen, one of these Aoki avatars, you bring it into the metaverse, right? It's there. That's your utility. You're playing as this, and you could change it out anytime for another one that you buy or whatnot. The same way that like a video game, a Fortnite or something would have a skin for your character. Difference being, of course, these are NFTs. So if you don't like yours 6 months from now, you can trade it to somebody else, sell it to them, what have you. Do whatever you want with it. And then those different series, the doggies and that stuff, they have their own utility as well in different ways. Not just obviously using it in the metaverse, which is, in my opinion, the core utility. But some of them give back to their community, give you special benefits, access to certain rewards periods, access to sand rewards, things like that, or other cryptos, right? So lots of cool stuff there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the forum here. And we got a couple of people in this forum. Looks like 7 people said they have not completed KYC under the settings tab. That means that you would not be eligible to win this asset. So if I roll you, and it does say you have not KYC'd, then whether it did say you were or you are not, if you aren't in fact KYC'd, I should say, if you're not KYC'd, I can't give you the reward. It's impossible for our people on the back end to award that to you intentionally so. So just keep that in mind. If you want to KYC, you want to get that done, and you'll have eligibility for these awards. The original ultimatum. We did not forget about you. There was a lot of different internal discussions about these alpha pass distributions. I want to note, I mentioned it earlier, original ultimatum. We've been building inside on our back end, right? Building a bunch of new features, and the folks who are in charge of distribution also have different jobs, different functions in the Sandbox game, different partnerships, different interviews, conversations, development. You know, there's all sorts of different arms that we work in. Some of them arts, some of them meetings, quite frankly, meeting after meeting after meeting, right? Doing it all the time. Now that said, we've also run up to today, right now, and it's an ongoing process. It's been going on for a little while now. The Ethereum merge is happening right now. So this Ethereum merge is going to mean that we won't be selling or otherwise distributing assets during this merge and for the short duration thereafter while we rigorously test to make sure that everything operates like it did before without having to do any sort of reworks. So this is a big update to the blockchain, and when that update goes through, again, let's make sure that it operates as expected, because the transactions that happen on the blockchain are final. So we wouldn't want to have you purchase an asset and then for some reason the distribution of that asset doesn't happen correctly or something like that. And then you lose your sand, it goes off into the ether, and your asset also does. You know what I mean? Like, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're going to test this rigorously before we bring these sorts of things back online. So maybe a little while for the distributions on that, but don't worry, because we've got all the way until the early portion of November before you would have any eligibility to claim the sand reward itself that you may have if you want to pass. So it's okay, you know, you'll have the asset here soon. All right, let's see here. Do you think they'll ever put a cap on how many items one wallet can buy? Adonna Thiel asks. I would say probably not. But certain collections have had that. Like the Avatar collections have had caps for how much quantity of an individual asset one can buy. However, unless it became something that was extraordinarily necessary, like let's say, for example, if you're in the marketplace and Alex releases, like he did, the Wizzy the Purple asset. The Wizzy the Purple asset sold out in an hour, and there was 170 of those for sale, and you could use that character inside any creation you wanted in the Sandbox Game Metaverse, right? If you're building an experience. So those sold out in an hour, and I would say that's one of the fastest sales I've seen, especially at that quantity, because we give away those Wizzy themed assets on this show. In my opinion, you know, that kind of makes it like fun and desirable. It's a community thing, right? Everybody likes to work together in the community and see those assets in their experiences, because we've been doing it here on the show. So I don't think that we need a cap for almost every other instance. Some of those assets that go up, maybe there's only like 5 of them. They're legendary, right? It might make sense to say max 1 for that. But again, that's only in super high demand if people are highly marketing their product before it then goes live on the marketplace at sandbox.game, right? If you're getting people excited for creations, what's up, Tailbar? I see you in the game. If you're getting people excited for your creations before it releases, then obviously that's going to create a certain amount of demand, because people are like, oh, well, you know, they see the animation quality, they see the art quality and that sort of thing. They're going to want to get in on that. But otherwise, yeah, not a super high need for that there. All right, let's see. Are you looking for Solidity devs? Holy Mir SK. So this software here operates on Unity, or it's built within Unity, which is the C#, as I recall, code base. And then we have full stack web developers, blockchain developers, and lots of other positions. But if you're interested in what we have open right now, you can go to careers.sandbox.game. We've got offices in, and we do remote as well. I'm currently remote. I live somewhat like right between Seattle and Portland, in the US West Coast. We've got an office in LA, London, Paris. We've got offices in Korea. We've got offices like I think there's one in Japan. I have to double check, but we had a lot of offices around the world. We've got some in Uruguay, Argentina. So, you know, lots of opportunities all over the place for the Sandbox game right now. All right. Astarvelia has a good question. This is actually a really good question, saying, I'm just wondering if you and the Sandbox had thoughts of just staying with ETH since it's moving to proof of stake. So it's interesting. That's interesting because the proof of stake Ethereum, right? We're moving over to the Polygon network. Polygon network has a lot more features, right? than just some of those. They've got thousands and thousands of apps, dApps in their infrastructure, and they are rapidly expanding the speed, size, scale, etc., while also remaining ecologically conscious. We made a commitment about a year ago to make sure that we offset any carbon emissions that we would generate, and proactively plant forests all around the world. We were planting forests in the south of the Sahara Desert to help make sure that belt of Africa stays there and the desert doesn't continue to creep downward as it has been over the last few years, along with many other projects. And that is part of our commitment, right? So Polygon Network allows us to do that, but then with the ETH merge moving to proof of stake, you actually get this sort of exponential effect to that, right? Because the nature of a layer 2, what it does is, imagine like you've got Ethereum and it's running its chain and new transactions are stacking up, and then you've got to reduce congestion, you've got Polygon over here, right? But Polygon every once in a while will confirm its transactions over onto the ETH chain. It'll be like, oh, I get the next transaction, right? It'll say all of these 1,000 that we just did is represented by this one block on Ethereum. And, Polygon acts as a sort of a validated database that way. They have their own validators on their database, but they also then revalidate all that information with Ethereum. This is what layer 2 does. So this move to proof of stake for Ethereum stops making it the primary chain, essentially, and starts enabling that there be many layer 2 side chains, right? So let me type to Rico. There we go. So these many side chains that could come out, you have all these, your Polygon transactions and those groups, those networks, and then you might have another layer 2 that comes in and says, all we do is games, right? And that layer 2 now also still validates with the Ethereum chain, but it becomes extra, even more so ecological, right? So it's good all the way around. There's not a good reason for us to change out. What's up, Ice Pilot? Not a good reason for us to change out into or out of Polygon as we are making this transition now. We're going to stick with it and enjoy it. It's working very well so far here. Marco Galvano, if there's no distribution for Alpha Pass this week, is the team still going to choose winners, which would be notified by email? As soon as the whitelist gets updated, those sorts of emails goes out. And that's a generic industry term. So not just this industry, but many industries around the world. And that essentially means once your name and an ETH address are verified, then you get added to a list of approved accounts that can click the claim button, right? So once you're added to that list, then you can click then you would get an email. But we probably wouldn't want to send out the emails. I would guess you might receive one. I'm not sure. But I would guess that we wouldn't send out an email because we wouldn't want to get you all excited. And then you come back and you can't click a claim button, right? And it would just there would be a lot of people who would end up coming back and be like, I got this email, but I can't claim. And they don't understand that the merge is happening. So we're going to try to avoid that, I think. All right. Metasaurus Rex says, I want a job. I'm in Glasgow now. Glasgow. Wow. Well, I mean, if you're willing, that's too much of a commute for sure to get down to London. But like I said, we do remote, depending on your skills, your qualifications. So never hurts to apply. All right, question. Sorry about the amount of questions today. No, don't be sorry. Ask all the questions. That's what it's all about. Do we have any statistics about how much time an average player spends inside experiences this season? We do, and I don't think last season we publicly shared what the average playtime was. But an individual session, let's just say it's just like you're playing but by the time you log in versus the time you close the client, you have some active session. I think last season it was something like 30 minutes was our average, which is pretty good. considering that, you know, some of these experiences, if you just wanted to play, right? And you're just doing it kind of, usually you have somebody beat it in like 5-10 minutes, something like that. Maybe 15 or 20, depending on what you were playing before. And that was sort of elongated by as you guys know, the Dracula's Castle experience that some people were reporting was taking hours for them to complete in season 2, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how that number changes this season with the incentive of the speedrunning competition, that sort of thing, versus what we have, you know, the updates to the Dracula's Castles and things like that, where they have these checkpoints when it releases and that sort of thing. So we also have a kind of like best practice target time that we set for our internal testers. That we don't usually, like, we're not going to share that, but we do have a sort of like, if this game took too long to play this one experience, then like we bring that back as feedback and say we need to find a way to allow for people to both really stay and enjoy it. If they really love what they're doing, they can play it over and over, or that sort of thing. Or on the opposite side, they can take it in little bites, right, and come back later. All right. Josh the Spanner said moving to who's the biggest ETH whale network. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily, but validators they don't have to have a lot of ETH to be a validator. Does that make sense, Josh? It's an interesting thing. So let's say that, like, what you need is you need to have 32 Ethereum. That's what you need to be able to be a validator. And then beyond that, you need to have people from the community that trust that you have the right infrastructure to support them, if that makes sense. So if I've got personally like 10 PCs, but you also like the way that I think, act, operate, you might use me as a validator. And whenever my transaction approves, then we all get rewards. Everybody who supported me. And when, like, you know, it's like regular blockchain stuff, but everybody who uses me as a validator gets a share when my transaction gets approved. Ice Pilot saying in game, happy birthday, Joe. I brought you some tea. I see your tea. I see it. Joe, I just wanted to say, T, on your birthday, you're working for the Sandbox and us, the Sand fam. Thank you. Oh, hey, appreciate you. Have a nice birthday after the stream with your loved ones. You know, I talked about it yesterday. It was funny. So you guys don't know, but I'm not much for birthdays, holidays in general. It's kind of more a personal thing, not too related to the Sandbox game, but not much for holidays in general. I tend to think that if you are going to do something special for a person, right? You care about them, what have you. You're just going to do it. Doesn't need to be a day. Doesn't need to be anything special associated with it. So, you know, I appreciate the sentiment for sure from the people who have a different mindset, right? Maybe they think differently and they just go like, hey, it's a good day, you know. But so my wife and I, like yesterday, it was, I don't know, it was late in the evening, like 9 or something at night, and I was like, oh yeah, my birthday's tomorrow, and she was like, oh no, because her family is the opposite, right? Where like holidays are like everything, but we've been moving, and so we've been busy, and yeah, all right, 265 responses on that form. So I'm going to generate a number here on that form, and that's going to help me find it. Okay, sorry, I had to open up my little, I have like a million tabs open right now, chat. You should see it. You would hate me for it. 56 is the number. So user number 56 out of 265. This person answered the question, which experience are you liking most in Alpha Season 3? They said Lululand's A Love Forever. Watching over on twitch.tv. Drakusha, or Drakasha, they have little capitalizations separately. It's over on twitch.tv. What? I see you in the chat. I see that. See that? Congratulations. Won yourself an Alpha Season Pass here on the show. And you know what, chat? You were right. I wasn't here yesterday. I did the transition. I moved it to another day. It's another day. All right. I'm going to do Alpha Form 2. Make a copy here. If you join us in about an hour, Alex's live show is going to come up here. I guess it'll be like 30 minutes after I shut this one down. So Alex's live show is coming up because it's a Wednesday. Is that in an hour? No, he does it at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. 5 p.m. his local time, 2 p.m. my time. So it'll be a few hours after my show. But we'll do another giveaway on that show as well. So I've got the responses. I've got it open. New form, new link. Shorten that URL. This is the forums.gle link going out on twitch.tv and youtube.com right now. There you go, chat. It's your next chance to win an Alpha Season Pass here on this show. And then after that, we'll do one Wizzy giveaway form. This, and I'm not going to put that in the chat yet, but we'll do it soon. I'll make a little copy for that. This next form after this, when I put it out there, will be for an NFT that you can wear inside any combat-based experience in the Sandbox Game Metaverse or in the Game Maker. But that'll be in just a couple of minutes. Donnie Yen 87 saying, why did my mom not name me Drakusha? All right. We got this, YouTube gang, says Lombardi. All right. What do we got here? Can't join. Say YTSME. There you would be able to join an instance, but not all instances are going to support a large amount of people. So we've got pause on T before Joe closes the form. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Ice Pilot, you better get in here, Ice Pilot. You better get your chances in here. You know. But if you didn't know, you can type /instances in the chat, as there's a user mentioning this now. /instances in the chat brings up the number of instances of your experience that you are in different servers that are live supporting players playing together. Once they get between about 35 and 40, a new instance will be opened automatically, and that instance will populate with the next group of players, right? You can join your friend's server so long as there's still room in the space by typing /join and the instance number of your friend. All right. Oh no, Tailbar says I got kicked out of the game. Wait, but I see your avatar. Are you sure? Tailbar is going to disappear in a second. Don't forget, folks, Panda also has 5 to give away. Not sure how she will give them. She said she isn't sure yet, but there you go. I am nobody. Over on YouTube. Oh, there we go. I appreciate you guys. All right, so what do we got going on here, chat? Looks like I made it. I finally made it to the bottom. It took me an hour. Chat, I made it to the bottom, to real time, so I can play this video game again, you know, while we're still filling up entrants on the Alpha Pass. Got almost 200 now. There's number 200 right now. And if you didn't know, there's 3 people who entered into this form so far that said they have not KYC'd under the settings tab. And if you are entering in for the Alpha Season Pass and you have not KYC'd, know that I cannot send it to you. So make sure that you do that KYC process. This Know Your Customer process can be done by clicking the settings tab in the top right where you have your little avatar on the website at sandbox.game. Click that, go to the bottom, click settings, and you'll see the KYC application. You can fill that out. It usually takes between a couple of minutes and a couple of days to have this process finalized. Mine took about 15 minutes, but I've seen it take a few days for some folks, and that's okay too. But just know, once again, can't give it to you if you don't have the KYC done. Only KYC peoples can earn sand prizes or NFTs from the Sandbox game for any of our contests. So keep that in mind. George Rice says, happy birthday, Joe. How to send you a gift? That was enough right there. Thank you. Thanks for recognizing, you know? Thanks for having fun with me here. 8 seconds for me to get verified, said Josh the Spaniard. Wow, that's wild. Haven't had coffee. I feel like I clicked not KYC by accident. G is us. If I saw your name, I would know that you were KYC'd anyway. You've been in like a million different our shows. So all right, here we go. Let me go collect some Voxelite. Let me collect some Voxelite here, chat. I changed instances. Got to get my Voxelites in. Oh, I'm not doing the tried and true method of jumping on the Voxelite. It sort of pauses you when you jump on this. I mentioned it at the top of the show, but if you jump on the Voxelites, you'll kind of stop there on them, and it verifies that you were there on server side because you're pausing for that just quarter second, and then you can get back to running. Get to collect and get that quest done. I haven't done the Central Town yet today, and so here we go. There we go. Oh, here we go. A lot of here we goes. A lot of opes. All right, more opes, and here we goes. I'm weird. Appreciate you folks in the chat who are helping out each other. It's very nice of you. No. There's a faster way to do this. I'm sure of it. Oh no, there's an invisible wall here. Could have done it. I could have been a hacker. Could have been a hacker. Speaking of which, rank 701, Josh the Spaniard. Wow. That's getting increasingly more impressive, I gotta say. As the days go by, I see your ranks. Because I'm over here, like, between actively playtesting the experiences that are not, like, released yet, and the... and then playing here on the show, like, experiences that I, can play while I'm chatting. I have not gotten all of the EP that you can get. A person could get more. Oh, hey, check it out. Oh, they probably used /respawn right there. I saw them rush back to the thing. And this does seem like a good time for that, doesn't it? Trying to find where all the other voxelites are. /respawn, gonna take me back here real quick. It's probably faster than walking back through the turns. Praying people forget about the limited time quest, Josh the Spaniard. Yes. I mean, if you didn't know, there are some of those. Like the Rabbids adventure has, I think, got that one open right now. I could be wrong. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's already been open. But yeah, there definitely are limited time events. Wait, I don't want to go in here if it's going to pop this quest. I feel like it's going to start a quest when I go in here. Ice Pilot, what's up, man? You made it. Whoever was first wins, though. Oh, my bad. I guess I don't win. Oh. All right, I'm falling. And I fall. What's up? There's a quest down here, but I'm not gonna take it. What's up? Get good, says Ice Pilot in the game. It's pretty funny. That closed yesterday. No, the Kakashi. Says Rabbids is gone. I missed it. I missed the Rabbids experience. Chat, you all beat me. Y'all beat me. But I'm okay with that. Because I can't win those prizes anyway. Gotta do my job, which is playtest. Do. Is there one in here? Yeah, there is. There we go. Wait, that was 39. No! That was 39! 40. Okay, I did it, chat. I figured it out. I got all the voxelite. Let me jump. I want to jump. I'm gonna break stuff. Used to be able to jump off of that. Back in my day, You used to be able to jump off of that. I'm old today, chat. I'm an old man now. It's over. All right, let's see here. There's a chat. Good question coming in. Chaldan_SA. There was an exploit in 9chan that allowed you to finish the main quest in 30 seconds that now got fixed, but times on the quest didn't get reset. Is that quest going to be reset or removed from the leaderboard? So when the quest got updated, it has a unique tag that is associated with that quest. So when we reissue that tag, as there is a new quest in its place, or it has been updated, then that will reset those times. So it does, it surely will happen in the future, but I'm going to make a note here just to be sure that the tag gets refreshed by our CTO. We have just a handful of people who can update all of those tags on the back end, as this is our very first run with the leaderboard. So 9chan quest tag reset. Similarly to that, right? I was playtesting an experience, and I got like one quest done. I got one quest done out of, I think it was like 11 or something, that it said that it had listed. But we reworked the experience based on some feedback over like a couple of weeks, almost top to bottom, like rebuilt the whole game. And when we did that, all those quests kind of got reset, and so I ended up with one EP out of what was 11, and then we refreshed those tags, right? And it allowed us to be able to then get the EP properly. So this is good, and this is like, obviously it's good because then we don't cause a bunch of like scare or concern from the community when I play test and somebody says, well, why does Joe have 10 more EP than I do, right? That sort of thing. But that came up on the very first day when some of our people were testing an experience. I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was like rabbits or something. And people were like, well, they have 22 and I can only get 19 or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so we'll get those tags updated, and it should clean stuff up for you there. All right, the bug insect needs to be reset too in quest of Triloga. Kill all insects. Okay, thank you. All right, Saman Gravity saying, when is the next alpha update? Have to be more specific. All of our softwares are currently undergoing constant iteration and updates. You could see in the top right, at the start of the alpha when we launched, it was 0.7.0. Now it is 0.7.2. With some fixes, patches, updates, iterations. We're constantly working to make sure that this product gets upgraded and updated. I think the next major update that we will release for the Game Maker software, which will put in new features, I can't remember if it's 0.7.5 or if they're going to call it 0.8. We'll have different music cues in there instead of just pre-canned. I think you'll be able to do custom, as I recall, and then also the allowing you to embed video on certain frames, such as like maybe a big billboard. And things like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close down that form here. Hey, we got well over 300 people in the chat now on our multiple platforms. Welcome. Good morning. It's probably afternoon for you or evening, but good morning. Question, if these quests are updated while we lose our times, are we going to be notified that we have to reset again? If a quest is updated, then if nothing else, I'll tell you right here, right? I will let you know if we have an update that changes that time. Philip Light said, did you say custom sounds? Yes, I did. When? Not sure, Jaeger. I don't like to make promises that I can't keep. We want to make sure that the software is good before we give dates. if that makes sense, right? So we'll be testing it internally for quite a while, and we'll find just the littlest thing, right? Like an example is we changed the walking mechanics. You see this little pipe here on the ground? Previously, if you were walking in the Sandbox game and you walked up to this little pipe, you might not be able to walk up it if it had collision on, right? You might just like kick it, essentially. You would kick it and just like look at it. You could walk up the big blocks previously, but you couldn't walk up small voxels. Now, so we added that feature in this update, but it was funny how it worked initially, because when we were first playtesting it, if I tried to like get on this car here, and I was walking on this car, if I was like right here in the middle of the car, my character would be like and just like falling into the car and jumping out of the car spontaneously, out of my control, right? Obviously, you see that's not happening now. Right? So that's what you do when you do the internal testing. That's like you see kind of behind the curtain. You know all the things that are broken, and you go like, okay, this is broken and it's broken for this reason, and this is how you need to change it. And then you send it back to the devs, and they go, okay, yeah, let me fix the code here, there, that sort of thing. And it's funny, like even like walking, you think like walking is a pretty simple mechanic, right? But the iterations of different speeds really changed the way that that the mechanics worked on each one of those things. So, yeah, all right. 9A7A said, any idea about how the custom audio will work? That could be disclosed. Because it's not final even internally, I don't really want to like go into it. Let's say there's two possible options. One possible option is that a person uploads the audio. That will probably take a great deal of server load / space, and is less likely than, let's say, you having it uploaded to another service and referring the link MP3 like a SoundCloud or something. But again, nothing is final. It is an alpha. And we are... You guys are so funny. Look at Barry there. Or is it L3 Airy? I assume it's Barry. I read it in leet speak. But yeah, it's because it's an alpha, it's variable, right? We can adjust and change. If we see a thing, we could do a thing on launch and go like, oh, well, you guys want this feature, that feature, and move forward from there. So it really depends on but the more sustainable long-term way of developing a thing is to allow a developer to host their own audio, whatever custom audio that may be, and then be able to index that audio in the Game Maker software and / client, so you could pull an audio that was hosted on yours into the Game Maker, and then we just have to make sure that enabling that doesn't allow some sort of security vulnerability or something like that, which makes the development time stretch out quite a bit in order to do that. Josh the Spaniard said, a few days ago I was ranked 1337 elite. That's very cool. I would be excited about that if that happened to me. But I'd have to get good, you know? All right. Let me roll on my random number generator. I got number 76 on the second form here. This is the alpha giveaway form number 2. I closed it down, and user number 76 will be the winner here. This person is a name that I am very familiar with. I like that. I like when that happens. I like when people who are longtime viewers get to win on the forums. I don't know. You know, you only roll once, you let it happen, you see it on the screen, it's a name you recognize. It makes me happy inside. Answering the question, which experience are you liking most in Alpha Season 3? They said, what? That's like an impossible question to answer. I like them all equally. Wow, that's so sweet. You're cute. Well done. Username on twitch.tv. Watching Cosmo Grog, who already knew it was them, because who else would answer such a thing in such a way? All right, Cosmo Grog in the chat. It is not April 1st. This is serious business. You won yourself an Alpha Season 3 pass on the show here. I got about 10 more minutes left. So in the meantime, let me do one more giveaway. We'll continue to answer questions in the chat, interact, hang out, maybe play a quest or two here. You guys have been really active in the chat. I appreciate you. This is fun. All right. This third link right here is for a Wizzy themed hat. This Wizzy the Purple's enchanted hat can be worn on your character's head, on your avatar's head, inside any combat-based experience in the Sandbox Game Metaverse or in the Sandbox Game Maker. You can also use this asset if you like, and you're creating in the Game Maker, if you're making an experience. You can give people this asset as an item they can wear while they are playing in your experience. So multiple different uses for the asset. That is not the end of the uses for the asset, but we'll talk more about that later as we get closer to the expansion of the Wizzyverse, as Alex likes to call it. Now, chat. That's good, man. That's good. Enhanced? Is it enhanced? I thought I said enchanted. Did I say enchanted? Did I get it wrong? I don't own one, chat. I haven't been lucky like you guys, all right? I don't get to get all the hats. I like to collect the things, you know? I like to collect the things. I've recently had a little bit less liquidity than I like, to be honest with you. But, you know, that's my own doing. I bought a house. Let me look it up. Was he the Purple's enhanced hat? That's right. Thank you, Hill. Saving my life. Currently, this hat selling OpenSea second day for 0.089 ETH. What is that? What is that right now? You guys are wild. You guys are crazy. Yeah, it's $141, $142, something like that. Nice. So that's just, we give them away free right here on the show. It's the only way to get them, by the way, and after, there's only 200 of them. So when they run out, they're gone for good. All right. Thanks, Mr. Pizza Man. Appreciate it. Not the super fancy one, Hodel Hill. That one was called something completely different. I really like that super fancy hat, by the way. If you didn't see it with Alex, he created like a fully animated version of this hat that there's only 10 of that was like really cool animation. And a little like almost like mechanisms in it that almost like spider legs, but not really. Like, I don't want to call it that because then some people get creeped out, but like it would like stand up on your head and do a little dance on its own and like jump and spin around. It was very cool. All right, I wanted to ask what's happening with the Ambassador Season 2 shields. I have 2. I was considering giving one away. So the season equipment isn't actually just exclusive to Ambassadors. Let me see, that's going to show NFTs. So if you have an Alpha Season 2 shield, that came from holding an Alpha Season 1 pass during Alpha Season 2, then yeah, you can do whatever you like with it. It's an NFT, right? Like, that's the nature of it. You can give it away, you can sell it, you can trade it, you can keep it forever. It's up to you. Crab legs, Go West says. Yeah, sure, crab legs are closer. I don't know, some people might find that creepy or delicious. I don't know. It's up to you. Oh, the Alpha Shield made by Kristen. That's a different one. Yes. I mean, again, it's an NFT, right? That's the nature of things. You can do what you like. It's yours to do with what you will. All right, let's see. Joe, there was a different shield that the ambassadors gave away. Yeah. That was just I get you. What's up, Orange Bag Lady? How you doing? How's life? Just hanging out, playing a little sandbox game here. Got some quests that I haven't completed because we've had a ton of questions here from you guys in the chat. I don't want to, and I'm just liking hanging out with you guys today. Maybe it's this time of day, right? It's quite early for me relative to when I normally stream. I typically would have been streaming at 8 p.m. my local time is when I would start doing this. Now I did a 9 a.m. show. I like it. Seems like the chat likes it, right? Everybody's having a good time. And yeah, we've got more people watching, than we usually do on the GMAE show, so that's good. That means that I can reach more of you. This is a better time for you guys, so yeah. Orange bag lady saying, looking sharp in that suit. Thanks, appreciate it. It is my birthdays, so I got in my... Never mind, I'm not going to say that. I just realized what I was about to say. I'm not going to say it. Mike over on youtube.com says, how much bigger will the map be in the full game compared with the alpha map? That is a great question, Mike. And let me blow your mind. If you thought the map was big already, and we're like a third of the way through the season, not even. If you go to the map at sandbox.game and you just look right on down over here, you see how that loaded up right there? You see that beautiful image that loaded right here? That's the whole alpha. Just that little right there. Just that little section right there. So if you're developing, if you're somebody creating in the Sandbox Game Maker, or maybe you haven't yet, and you're thinking to yourself, should I get into this, right? Should I get invested in this? That particular square right there is the alpha. These experiences take weeks and weeks, months and months to develop, depending on the experience. And it's all of this, how big this is, all these quests, all this time, right? You guys have 10 weeks worth of gaming that you have done and can do in this alpha, and it's all just in this little box. Imagine how much game, how many experiences you could create, what you could play in the sandbox when things expand out to all this space in the metaverse. This is 166,464 lands. That's how big the sandbox game can be. Individual experiences. You can develop up to a 4x4 experience in the Game Maker. We usually recommend people develop 2x2 experiences at largest, just in case you want to make sure the maximum number of people can play in your experience. You know, and as they get bigger, you tend to see more people kind of lag out with if they have a lower end PC, that sort of thing. And we're working on optimizations, of course, to make that not an issue. And then you can make much bigger experiences. But for now, that is the way. Slither Kai saying, I miss Kristen. Haven't seen her in weeks. Kristen seems to be just hanging out in the Discord right now, constantly working on some stuff. All right. Yep. All right, let's see. Sandman G saying, damn, that's big. You're right. There's a lot of metaverse, right? There's a lot of room for people to have careers in the metaverse. And I know a lot of people who have made the metaverse their career. They became game developers. They became marketers. They became studio heads, right? Not just, you need administrative people as well in all these different studios all over the world. They're going to conferences, that sort of thing, all happening because of the metaverse. And that's just what I know about the Sandbox game specifically, and that expands out even further than that. If you think about like going interoperation or interoperability, that sort of thing, metaverse to metaverse. We had the folks at Star Atlas talking to us a couple of weeks back, maybe a month or 2 months, I'm not sure, a couple of months back, I should say, about interoperability as they sponsored a VoxEdit contest. So if you're just getting here, go to the Create section here on the left on the website. Download the Game Maker software, download VoxEdit, enter in some of those contests. You might win yourself some sand. You could buy yourself a land, end up creating your own experience outside of the alpha when the user-generated content opens up. All right. Can you guys work on the blockiness of the game? Because all hitboxes are boxes, and it makes weaving between enemies very sucky. Mr. Dangerous 99. Yes, sort of. But that is actually more of an issue for the individual developers. So I'll let you in on a tip if you haven't used the VoxEdit software, Mr. Dangerous. There are two different ways to design an asset, right? Generally speaking, let's say if I'm making an asset out of my hand, because I can show you my hand, right? And if I shape my hand like this, and I make it a fixed object, and it's the whole hand, and that's what I designed in VoxEdit, then the hitbox will be around my hand in all of its dimensions, from the widest left point, the widest right point, the top, and the bottom. And that's the hitbox of my hand, if it's positioned this way. But if I design one finger, and I use the animation portion of the software to connect the hand, even if I don't want it to move, I use the animator to rig these things together so that my finger is connected with the base of my hand. Then I only have the hitbox for the finger and its maximum dimensions, and the hitbox for the base of the hand and its maximum dimensions, and the hitbox of my thumb, and they're all separate, right? So when I move, that it would interact uniquely instead of having the big box out here. So that should be something that you're taking into consideration. If you're a developer, you're a creator, and you want to test those assets, we're going to reopen soon the ability for you to test assets in the Game Maker only, and those assets will not work in the game client, and you would not be able to publish those that you are testing. And this is intentional so that you're only buying things in the marketplace that are functional for your game if you're not an artist making them in VoxEdit. Otherwise, if you are creating, I would recommend that you get started with VoxEdit or work with somebody who has started with VoxEdit and understands those sorts of optimizations so you can avoid these sorts of things that Mr. Dangerous 99 talks about. Very valid things that they're mentioning where it's their hitboxes in the way of certain things. I personally feel the same way about invisible walls. I happen to believe, and you don't have to agree as a game dev, right? That's the nature of decentralization. I happen to believe that if there's a railing that I can jump over, and I know that I don't take damage when I hit the ground, then I should be able to jump over it. And you should design your game in such a way where if you want there to be a wall, make there visibly be a wall. Even if it's like a force field style wall where like I can only barely see it, then make that wall exist. And then it's going to, you know, again, it's you can't disappoint me as a player. Like, I personally am disappointed with the fact that I can't run over here because this thing is low enough that I should be able to run over there. Whereas in this scientific holographic world, you could have made a holographic fence that I couldn't jump over right here, right? To show me that I can't jump over it instead of making it invisible. But it's not my choice. That's a developer's choice. And so as individuals, right, we can possibly give feedback to people and maybe change the nature of it. But there have been a couple of times, like in the Atari experience had invisible walls, and I mentioned it on the show, where the invisible walls made sense because the game had that like 4:3 or like, well, 4:3, I'm thinking about the TV, but like the old school style, like top-down view on it, and you were meant to walk upstairs in a particular way, and it was meant to feel like an old game, a classic experience. And so in a classic experience, you weren't able to jump off the sides. We knew what it was going to be going in, right? You had the feeling, the vibe, because it's an Atari experience. You want it to feel classic like that. So in that case, I was like, oh, invisible wall. Okay, I can't jump off this because I can't jump off the stairs. And games used to just be that way. And so that made sense to me. So there will always be exceptions to the rule, but you know, that's the way that goes. Let's see here. Here we go. Orange Bag Lady saying, when I get the computing power, I'd love to do some creating asset streams with my community. Super cool to have the artistic aspect to the box. Yeah, absolutely. We love to support people who are, doing those sorts of streams too. So if you're doing a live stream and you're playing the Sandbox game, you're making something in VoxEdit, you're making something in the Game Maker, feel free to tag me on Twitter at TheVisionEX. I will share your stuff to the extent that, you know, I am available to do so. I should retweet people all the time that just have made something cool, or they found a cool exploit, or maybe they like made a game controller work with it. Things like that. Whatever is useful or helpful to the community, I love to share those sorts of things. Oh, Anna Malihan asking, I didn't get to catch you streaming. It's a bit late here in the Philippines. What's the usual time a GMAE show would air? So I like to air the show, like, based on what I'm seeing today. I think that this should be the new time of the show. Previously, I would stream 11 hours later than this, whatever that means for you. And I understand that that is late for the Asia Pacific region, but it's not too late for there, I think, generally, and it's not too early for the North America West Coast. The Pacific Ocean is the, like, when the sun is up over that way. I would think that that's probably, or the opposite. When the sun is down over the Pacific Ocean is probably the best time to do a show like this, because that's the most people possible around the world would be awake. And the nature of things, I'd like to make sure we can have the best, most diverse chat we possibly can with the most countries and the most viewers and that sort of thing. All right, let's see. Say, is the form done? I have not closed it yet. I probably should, though. I did go over my time there by about 5 minutes, because your comments, your questions have been great all show. So appreciate you all. We got 308 responses and more than that in the chat. So that makes sense to me. That's tracking. So I'm going to shut it down quickly. 10 of these people said they have not completed KYC under the settings tab. And in this particular case, because it is a Wizzy NFT that's given away from Alex to you, that's okay. But keep in mind that if you want to win an Alpha Season Pass or Sand in this season, you have to be KYC'd. So make sure you go do that. It only takes a couple of minutes. Go to the settings section of the website. In the top right, you can click your avatar, click settings, go KYC yourself. Get yourself ready to get those rewards in Alpha Season 3. All right. So let me see. You got 306. Sorry, 308. I click generate. User number 122 is going to win the Wizzy themed NFT. And that is over on youtube.com. They said, I'm loving participating in all of the events for what they like most in Alpha Season 3. Username Renato, Renato, over on youtube.com is the winner of the Wizzy themed NFT. All right. Let me see. I got some questions here. A couple of things. I have a question regarding the wallet security in Alpha Seasons. I've purchased a ledger after I created my first account on the Sandbox and would love to protect my assets on the ledger. I would have to transfer my whole account on a new wallet to keep my memorabilia and such. Would that be possible in the near future? Chaldan, we are exploring allowing users to have multiple wallets on a single account. But that feature is not finished yet. We will build it in the future, but for now, unless you're getting special rewards or things like that for it, the memorabilias and stuff are still going to be associated to the one wallet, because the real account right now is your wallet. You could change your username, you could change your email, you could change your password, right? Whatever you want, because your wallet is the most secure method for logging in. So keep that wallet safe. And in the future, we will intend on being able to allow you to have multiple wallets, because we understand the additional security that happens therein when you get a ledger, when you have a hot wallet and a cold wallet. If you don't know what those terms are, they're very useful. Go check them out. And then let's see here. Question, Joe, can we DM you on Twitter? I don't think my DMs are open on Twitter, but you can do it on Discord. Let's see. How long should the tutorial for the Ragnarok Game Jam be? Totoro asks. The tutorial in an experience doesn't really have to be all that long. You still go under the assumption that people know how to play your experience, but if you are making something fairly unique, then maybe that has to expand a little. But generally speaking, a tutorial can be pretty brief. I don't think you're getting a lot of users who are coming into this space that aren't starting out by playing like this on our alpha experiences first, and then going back. You usually don't have people who go to the Game Maker first, and if they are going to the Game Maker first, they are familiar with how a PC plays, and it's pretty intuitive. So all right. Oh, yeah, the $500 prize for making a video tutorial. Let me pull that up really quickly because quite frankly, I'm not too familiar with this particular contest. Ragnarok, the Sandbox. And then I'm going to Game Jam. There we go. Host a Ragnarok Game Jam. Okay, this is from Gravity, Global Newswire. 250,000 sand rewards will be given as a total prize. The word category is more diversified. I've got it in Korean. I probably should have looked it up in English because I don't know Korean. I'll get you an answer on that. If you want to send me a message, Totoro1829, send me something on Discord and I'll get you an answer to that after the show here. The time is 10:40, my local time now. It's been about an hour and a half. Alex is going to have a show coming up soon, so make sure if you're not already subscribed, you can watch Alex Florez later today, playing an experience. I believe, I can't remember if they're going to play an experience that's already released or not, but I remember him saying it's a special event day. So you'll want to join him for that in just a little while here. So make sure you like or comment or I'm sorry, like or subscribe or follow, depending on the platform, what it is. We'll be right back in just a little while. But I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And I'm going to set us into an intermission screen. And then if you're watching over on twitch.tv, I will raid one person in just a little bit here. This raid, send the love from the Sand Fam to them. I try to prioritize people who have never streamed the Sandbox before. Maybe you're a first-time streamer and you're trying to get yourself affiliate over on twitch.tv. You're liking what you're doing here in the Sandbox game. I'll try to prioritize those people in order of least number of times I've ever rated you. So send them some love here in a second. All right. Let me get my softwares up. Do 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 do.